I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would everybody please rise and recite the pledge with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Patrick.
Here.
Zuber.
Here.
Bruner.
Here.
Farnham.
Here.
Helpsley. Lorenzen.
Here.
Voigt.
Here. We do have a quorum. Next item of business is the minutes from March 9th, regular meeting. You've had that in your packets. Does anybody have a motion on that to approve?
So moved.
Lorenzen. Mr. Patrick, seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Claims against the county. Any questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the claims against the county.
So moved.
Mr. Bruner,
Second.
Mr. Lorenzen. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Board member claims. Any questions?
So moved.
Mr. Zuber,
Second.
Mr. Lorenzen seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Now we come to the portion of public comment. I invite anybody who has to address the board. Now's the time.
Well,
You're done.
Hi, Don.
I've been reading all this going on with the airport and the zoning and the fact it was never in federal compliance and everything else. And in my case, they took my ground by eminent domain, so it's finding it kind of hard to take it by eminent domain when there was no zoning. So I'm asking the county to work with me and give me my ground back.
Okay.
And we can go back, there's no problem, it's just, there's no runway there, it's just right away off the side. And we can work with air rights back to the airport to get you all in compliance, but I'm just asking right now to give me my 9.3 acres back.
Carl?
It actually went to eminent domain?
Yes, I
Really?
fought them in court and lost it. And I can talk with you on several different ways that went about. And it's nothing to do with you guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But maybe you have an Arizona mission policy that would go back on it. But if it's a violation of the federal, my only other recourse would be file a federal lawsuit. And I'd rather not do that if we can work together.
We'll refer it on to the state's attorney, which we're, yes, Mr. Brenner.
I wasn't on board at that particular time. Was there a dollar amount that was involved?
Yes, I got paid. They have to pay you for the eminent domain.
I didn't know how to work. I just wanted to.
Yeah, anytime they take eminent domain, they have to pay you.
Okay.
But,
I realize that you may not want to give up your land for any amount of money. I'm just asking. if
well, I
there was a
didn't
dollar
then,
amount
and I've
involved.
spent several thousand
Yeah.
fighting that case.
Okay.
And in a lot of ways, it's more than paid for itself because you farmed it for 18 years now. So there ought to be, that's part of the income that you guys get. So
Yeah.
we can talk about it or we can go the other route. So we'll just go from there.
Well, we prefer to talk to you about it, and like I
Okay.
said, we will refer that to the state's attorney,
Okay,
as we have other issues involving this ever since we got the letter.
okay.
Appreciate your comments,
Thank
Don.
you.
Anybody else, please? Albert?
Takes me a minute to get over there.
Oh, that's all right. I won't start your clock till you start.
Yeah,
That's a plan.
I'm Albert Snyder. What I've got to say, I probably said it before. I'm gonna say it again. One thing is, I remember Helsley, I think, said out at the last airport board meeting, that there didn't seem to be anything out there of any interest to anybody in Paris, you know. Well, in my opinion, there's either no interest, or there's nothing out there to be interested in. This spending this little sum for concrete, you know, a couple of nice airplanes out there would be great. With somebody to pilot them, so if somebody wanted to come out and take a ride, they could take a ride. If they want to take lessons, they could take lessons. There were several fellows, I think, was taught to fly out there. I'm sure there'd be a lot more if we had somebody that could do all that, and then I can't see where, it's not gonna do nothing the way it is. Hadn't done anything for 3 years, why is it gonna do anything in the next 3? I've got a friend that lives in Texas. He didn't want me to use his name, so I'm not going to, but they've got ground around Oakland, and they want to move to Paris. He's not gonna move to Paris, he's gonna move to Terre, so he have a place to park his plane. He's got a 172. He said, I'm not about to take it to Edgar County Airport. I've had other people tell me that. Then, the concrete, I've talked about that before. The only thing I can figure that it'll do is cut down on the mowing bill. I know that's a high bill, and you'd like to get rid of part of it, but gosh almighty, using $1 million to do it, doesn't seem to me like that's very great. For some reason, I don't know why it beats me that way, but it does. And then another thing was, that's bugged me over the years is, why, is there anybody can tell me why the meetings are held at 9 o'clock in the morning? Does anybody know of any reason that they are? Is it a law?
No, it is not a law. It's something that we've decided every time we reorganize. Okay?
Well, I didn't hear what you said there.
Every time the
Yeah,
board
too.
reorganizes, we make a decision on when we're gonna have our meeting.
Okay. Well, then what's the reason for having it at 9 o'clock in the morning?
I don't
I
remember all.
remember fellows tell me they love to be on the board.
Convenience for
They
the
got
board
it.
members.
Well, that is a nice convenience for the board members now, but if you want somebody that's not retired, you can't get them on the board, and I know of a lot of people. There's people comes to me and asks me if I'd say something to the board meeting, because they can't come to it. So to me, it's even, I'm retired, I don't have anything I have to do at all. I plan not to have anything I have to do. I can come anytime, but I'd rather come at night than 9 o'clock in the morning. I have to get up too early. I'm here at 9. Then another thing is just commenting to the public. Why on earth? Now Joe out at the airport, he changed it to have the comments at the end of the meeting. I think I told you one day, I got up here to say something, I said I had a nice trip in, saw a deer or two, and stumbled over the step down here in the sidewalk, and I'm handicapped. But I didn't have a thing to talk about, but after the meeting I do. I don't know why I about fell out of my chair when the first time I was here and you asked for comments at the beginning of the meeting. I was president of a board for 20 years, and public comments could have been made at any time in the school board. But if we had any, there was the public comments were at the end of the meeting, not the beginning. That's all I got to say, I think. I had 3 or 4 things.
Thanks,
I had to
Phil.
talk very brief about all of them in 5 minutes. Well, I know you don't want to. If everybody here talk 5 minutes, we wouldn't know home by noon, probably.
Thank you, Albert.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else, please?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, my name is Robert Vogue, I'm a citizen of the United States of America, veteran of the United States Army, Edgar County resident. This morning I wanted to talk briefly about the airport. I know the recent action by the Division of Aeronautics has caught some people by surprise, but, and again, the law has been broken multiple times by this county. You folks may not have broken the law, but it did happen here, and I hope that what Don said this morning about his property that was taken by eminent domain, that this county has benefited from, that they've taken revenue from that property, and that that property was taken in violation of Illinois law. I hope the county does the right thing. That is what it's all about, really. The other expansions, the county doesn't have a right to own property they took wrongfully. If the Illinois law was broken, those that lost their property, that would not have sold their property, they need to be made whole, just as Don Ferris needs to be made whole. So I guess I don't know how you can hold property that you didn't have a right to take, or to purchase, or to own. Don't want to repeat a lot of this stuff. I think you guys have probably heard quite a bit by now. The things about the airport, I want to thank this county board. I don't do this very often, so I hope you're paying attention. I think you made a wise decision in selecting Tom Tuttle as an interim manager. I think Tom is an asset. In that same spirit, I would suggest that if you consider zoning, you consider it to be a countywide zoning issue and not spot zoning only for the purpose of the airport. I would suggest that the airport does have a need that can be filled by this county relatively painlessly, and that is to purchase, automate the credit card fuel pump system. I know there is about $60,000 of revenue that comes from the lease of property out there. I know that the pilots out there could use that, and they don't need a $1 million or $1.28 project to get that done. It's a $15,000 commitment. I know the county has money, and I also know that you have other issues to deal with, but I'm asking you fellas to please, let's get down to a different level. Let's try to work together on solving some problems instead of fighting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, on the resolution, where to go? Have it here, right here in front of me.
Tim?
It's, on Hanson, the bill for Hanson's that's come in. What number is that? Number 12, authorized payment of 8803, request by Hanson Professional Services. I have no idea what contract was signed with that, but I would hope that if they're the ones that were supposed to be part of the oversight on behalf of the county, and this fell through the cracks on their watch, I really wonder why we're paying them. I also see your salary resolution. I understand you're going to go ahead and approve health insurance for the elected officials. Thanks for doing it the way it's supposed to be done. Appreciate that. In light of what this gentleman said earlier, I beg all of you to put yourself in his shoes and think about having your land taken from you when in reality there wasn't any zoning. And we all know it was none of you guys that did that, but we all know it was 20+ years of lawlessness out there. This is just one of those examples that's been pointed out. That man and whoever else needs to be made whole, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll be brief. Reiterating one more time, although you guys weren't the ones that did it, you had the power to fix it. So I'm asking you to fix it. And the other thing is, a lot of public bodies I go to, they like your resolutions you're getting ready to pass today, along with their agenda that they post on the website. They post the board packet on their website so the public can review those before they show up to a meeting. And then if the public has any comments, they could comment to the clerk or to their county board representative prior to the meeting on whatever resolution you plan on passing during the meeting. And it might solve some problems in the future, and just post the board packet with the agenda so people can read it before they show up. So, that's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you for your public comments, everyone. Moving on, highway resolution of concurrence, Edgar County functional classifications. We talked about this on Monday morning at the study session. Do you have anything to add to it now? Aaron? Any questions of Aaron on this issue? Okay, I assume you're ready for a motion. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
Is that the first one or the second one?
First one. Did I say it wrong? It's number one, resolution of concurrence.
Does everyone understand what the resolutions?
That's why I asked whether, we reviewed it on Monday morning,
Yeah, I
so.
don't know if anybody knows.
Item number one is the Federal Highway Administration every 5 years looks at every county's roadway system and recommends to the Department of Transportation functional classification assignments on the roadways based on a variety of reasons. The one we've used Monday is such as like average daily traffic. They've looked at our system and come to us with a map saying there's been a half a dozen changes, which I've given you guys. I think all of which lowering the classification from, in most cases, from like a minor collector to from a minor collector to a local road. Of course, there's inside that same packets township changes and city of parish changes. And what you're being asked to do is to give concurrence to what the Federal Highway Administration has recommended to the Department of Transportation, to pass along to the County Highway Department for your review and approval. The Highway Department recommends that you do agree or concur with the Federal Highway Administration's classifications of our functional classes.
So move.
Mr. Zuber moves, Mr. Bruner seconds. Any further questions? Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor, I'm sorry, roll call.
Patrick.
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Brunner. Farnum.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Resolution does carry. Okay, resolution of support by County Board for the future jurisdictional transfer of CH6, that's 900th Street, to Young America Township. Questions on it? Discussion?
So moved.
Mr. Bruner moves. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Lorenzen seconds. Further discussion? Roll call vote, please, Mr. Clerk.
Patrick.
Yes.
Zuber.
No.
Brunner.
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
It does carry. Thank you. Number 9, request from Chrisman Area Community Club for $600 from the motel hotel tax or hotel motel fund. You have a letter in your packet from Dwayne Fiddler. They're having a spring fling up in Chrisman involving vendors from around the county and are going to use that for advertising. They requested, I think, the last year or two to do this. Last year they returned some of the funds. They didn't need all of it because the weather turned sour. So, Derek, do you have anything to add to that since?
Nope, it's pretty self-explanatory, so, and I wasn't actually part of that last year, so I don't know a lot to.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, sir.
How much money is in that account? Is it
30, hang on,
3837.
$38.37, $3,837. And,
I see it now.
okay,
And as we've said before, this part really that we get comes from the Chrisman Bed and Breakfast.
yeah, there's several, there's a couple of them up that way, so, okay?
You looking for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'd make that.
Okay, do we have a second? Mr. Bruner seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It does carry. Next, we have a salary resolution for elected officials whose term begin December 1st, 2016. You have that in your packet. Any questions or further discussion?
Now, this is for the ones that will be starting your term in December, correct? It's on a
Correct.
certain,
Right, for the next 4 years.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Mr. Chairman, I think we've discussed this at different times, and I don't think this has really been messed with for probably 10 years, I'm not sure.
Or longer.
I'm not trying to whine here, but I will tell people that there's more time involved than what people probably think if you try to do it. And so you're doing a public service, and you're also getting some compensation, but county board standpoint, I think that that's a good thing, and everything I've seen over the last 3 years as far as our circuit clerk, our coroners, and our state's attorney, I think they all really try to do a good job. Entertain any more conversation, but if we're ready for a motion, I would also agree to give that.
Okay, Mr. Zuber moves the approval of the resolution. Do I have a second? Carl Farnham seconds. Any further? Mr. Clerk?
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Resolution does carry. Dina, you have a Board of Review final report in the packet.
Just an annual report that we're required to file so the county board can see the happenings of the Board of Review. I might point out that they did receive the multiplier of a 1, it will remain that way. And also that we received it on March 28th of this year. Last year we did not receive it until April 30th, so that's a month earlier, again, including the tax cycle dates.
Thank you, Dina. Do I have a motion to accept her final report, please, gentlemen? Carl Farnham moves. Do I have a second? Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It does carry. Okay, the next item is to authorize payment of $8803.96 as requested by Hanson Services, Inc. for resubmission of apron and fuel projects. Mr. Lorenzen, do you want to say anything on this?
Just real quick, the document we have here is fairly self-explanatory. Basically, we were sent a bill for the redo of the project to the tune of about, originally it was over $18,000. We said that, they were on the hook for, at least half of that, and so we said, we would be willing to pay half, if approved by the board for those services. So we came back, sent us a bill, ran it down on 2 separate accounts to the tune of $17,614.98, of which they sent us a bill for $803.96.
So basically, we split the responsibility.
Right in the middle.
Okay. Any questions on that particular issue? I'd entertain a motion to approve that payment, please.
So moved.
Mr. Lorenzen moves. Andy Patrick seconds. Further discussion, gentlemen? Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor of authorizing the payment of $803.96 to Hanson Professional Services, Inc. signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay. It does carry. Okay, resolution to appoint Linda K. Ash, trustee of Hume Fire Protection District. A motion, please.
So moved.
A second.
I'll second that.
Carl seconds. Mr. Clerk?
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
It does carry. Resolution to accept oath and bond for Linda K. Ash, trustee Hume Fire Protection District. I need a motion, gentlemen, for the resolution.
So moved.
Carl moves. Mr. Lorenzen seconds. Mr. Clerk?
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Resolution is approved. Number 15, resolution to reappoint Ben Lucan, trustee, Paris Community Fire Protection District, Edgar County, Illinois. A motion, please. Mr. Farnham,
Motion.
Second.
second by Mr. Zuber. Mr. Clerk?
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
That does carry. Resolution to accept oath and bond of Ben Lucan, trustee, Paris Community Fire Protection District, Edgar County, Illinois. I need a motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Oh, who seconded it?
I did.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
All right, Mr. Clerk?
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Resolution is passed. Resolution approving the oath and bond of Darrell Dunn, Commissioner, Drainage District Number 7 of the town of Buck, County of Edgar, State of Illinois.
So moved.
Mr. Brunner, second. Mr. Farnum seconds. Resolution, roll call.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Resolution is approved. Number 18, authorize chairman to execute deed of conveyance for parcel number 09-1336356-015. That address is 613 Tanner Street, Paris, Illinois.
I can only assume this has something to do, Augie, you want to comment on that?
I can only assume that, no. It's another Joseph Meyer conveyance that we do, seems like we've been doing them monthly, where they have the delinquent property and on behalf of the county, and now they are going to sell it. They found a buyer, which happens to be the city of Paris, and so we're getting rid of delinquent property.
Yep. And you do have the resolution in your packet.
And I do, yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Motion, or we already got a motion?
We did?
No.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Carl moves, second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Lorenzen seconds. We need a roll call on that, Mr. Clerk.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
and Lorenzen.
Yes.
Okay, number 19 is a resolution authorizing issuance of tax anticipation notes not to exceed $500,000. Mr. Treasurer.
Yes, we do this as a housekeeping thing every year. Last year, we squeaked through without having to finance through a local bank. We still have to lay the groundwork as if we're going to, and this is more of a precautionary thing. I hope we don't have to. I'd love to see 2 years in a row where we didn't have to draw on it. But until I see the state being a little bit more punctual, we're gonna have to continue to do this, so that's what it's about.
Any questions of the treasurer, gentlemen? I'd entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
So move.
Mr. Zuber moves.
Second.
Mr. Brunner seconds. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Resolution is approved. The next item is action on contract with Illinois FOP Labor Council, jailers and dispatchers, and the County of Edgar and the Edgar County Sheriff. Carl?
We met probably half a dozen times with them, and we finally got it ironed out. Quickly, just on the pay raises, it was 3 1/4 the first year. The second year was 3%. Let's see. Oh, the big issue that we got ironed out, and it was the overtime issue for any of the open shifts. We got in the agreement that up to 5 shifts per week, we can use part-time help, which will be a big savings to the county, because overtime has been an issue this past year and this year, but we've got that worked out. And I think there was 3.5 on longevity. I think we raised it to 3.5% from 3.
Health insurance, I think we pay a little more.
Yeah, it's the same as the road deputies, $50 the first year and 60 the second year, I think was what we got. So that's basically the only major changes.
You were electronically, Augie shipped that out to everybody, so you do have it, so.
I'd like to make a comment that the
Please.
negotiation went very well with both sides. We didn't get any fights or anything, so it worked out very well, so. Went very well.
Yeah, we had a very good open dialogue, conversation back and forth, and I think that'll be productive for the future.
Entertain a motion to,
I'll make that motion. We
Carl?
accept
Mr. Brunner, do you want a second?
I'll say.
Okay, I'd like a roll call on that, even though it doesn't say so. Okay?
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
It does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Action on bids for fuel at airport. Mr. Clerk, I understand that we received no bids.
That's correct. We received no bids after it was advertised. So,
The state's attorney has not gotten back to us. He will review that in light of what we did to find out what our next step is, whether we can just buy fuel, whether we advertise correctly enough to generate bids, and what the issues were. So we'll wait for him. I thought he might have been able to let us know, but he hasn't at this point, okay? So.
I think I did hear that one of the reasons why one company didn't want to bid, because such small tanks, they
Right.
can't come here for a 500-gallon tank.
Yeah.
Or- So,
Yep, that is correct, but.
yeah.
Okay, so moving along, we'll start with, was there some, oh, okay. Office department heads. Don, do you want to kick it off?
Sure, you have your reports in front of you. We've only received income tax so far this month, which somewhat puzzles me and somewhat bothers me. I would hope that something breaks loose. Please notice at the bottom of your sheet about some notes. Since the last report that you received at a meeting, there's been 3 payrolls. So be mindful of that if you're doing some number crunching and what have you. IMRF and tort funds, much improved since last year. Not that tort was any problem, but IMRF, we ran out of funds before we received tax distributions. So we're much better off. I anticipate we're good through June, maybe even into July, as far as having enough IMRF funds to cover the employer side of our commitment. However, on FICA, last year we depleted that fund before tax distributions were done, and I anticipate, not only anticipate, I almost guarantee that we will this year also, and I think it's gonna be a little bit ahead of what it was last year of when we depleted. So I would just encourage the board to take a good look at that for future levies and see if something can be done.
Meaning what?
Meaning, I think we're seeing a general,
I mean, we know how much
Shortage.
FICA is, won't we? I mean,
Right.
we know what it's gonna do.
for the most part, right? And I don't know if this is just because the salary increasements over the years, it just starts taking, we haven't, maybe we
So
haven't.
we haven't made the adjustment on.
I can only assume that.
I pretty much thought,
Yeah.
I take total payroll and take it times,
Yeah.
That amount. That's
Yeah.
what- I mean, we.
and I know it's tight, and like other funds, we get other revenues in. And the only thing that some of these funds, dedicated funds get in is tax money, that's it.
Right.
So if I've called it a little too close, then that we may have to borrow
Yeah.
on it, or
Would
borrow
we-
from.
Would we be legitimate and instead of borrowing and costing more money that way? I don't know where the fine line is, or gathering more money, a little bit more money to begin with for
Well-
FICA ahead of time, if we kind of know what it's gonna run us.
Well, the past year, at least last year, both IMRF and FICA were depleted before the tax distributions. Fortunately, we had enough money in our general fund to cover that shortage, meaning we can borrow internally from the general fund to pay this, but we can't do the other way. It's a one-way street. We can't use levy funds to help out the general fund, as they say. I'm hoping that we'll squeak by again this year, since we only got one fund that's gonna be depleted. But I just think, I don't know why it's a shortage for sure, other than, like the chairman said, we keep that as tight. We don't wanna be asking for too much, but it's just a fine line here.
We
And-
have reduced that levy a little bit over the last couple of years, because we were carrying a surplus.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, there's gonna be enough money to pay the bill, okay?
Right. We just-
We'll have to look at it and see what our comfort level is, but you know,
That's why I was
trying to be
asking on.
practical with the taxpayer.
And the last note, I'm picking on my buddy Monty over there. Usually this time of year, we start seeing some of the probation salary reimbursements coming from the state. Right now, they are, and this is normal, I don't know, it's a timing thing with them. Right now, they've only paid us up through November, but then it breaks loose like a tidal wave come springtime, because it's like they need to get it all paid out by the end of June, their fiscal year.
I don't think we should let them use their office until then.
Well, you know, see, Monty, I told you. So, Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith said he would talk with his people and get back with me, but you already have?
I made a call already. It's coming.
Boy,
Checks in the mail, huh?
you guys need to take a lesson from him. That's good response. I just spoke to him before the meeting.
Look at how red he is.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, appreciate that.
My pleasure, Don.
And one other note, as far as all the other reimbursements, state's attorney, public defender, supervisor assessments, they're up through February collection month. Local use income, sales tax, personal property replacement tax, up through January. I really feel like we should already have some of those, at least one more month on all those, but it's not gonna happen. Now, the minute I get back to the office, I may get on the website and see where something broke loose, but
If that's what it takes.
I'll get Monty on it. Make some phone calls for me, buddy, I tell you.
Any questions of Don? Aaron, anything from you? Okay. Dina?
We received 3 bids on the Aero Flight project, and we're examining those, and also we have 5 townships for the quad reassessment this year. We've completed 1, 2 are near completion, and we have 2 yet to start.
Okay. Any questions? Janet?
Not a lot. We are in the process of installing the new HVAC system for the department. We paid half of that bill in March. Probably they'll be finished by the end of April to pay the balance of that. It does deplete. We're definitely into our reserve funds at this point, mainly because of that, along with the fact that the state still owes us a lot of money since July 1. We continue to provide all services without any reductions, kind of a month-to-month thing. We'll see how we are at the end of May, and hopefully the state will come to terms and we'll start seeing the money. Eventually, we know that we will. We have contracts. We know we'll get the fund. It's just a matter of how long we have to wait for it. I guess that's about it.
Thank you, Janet.
One comment.
Mr. Bruner?
I was checked the new system. It's unbelievable how small it is. The other one's like 20 feet to 20 feet. This is half the size of this table.
It wasn't half as much though, was it?
Yeah, price a little bit different. Technology is great, I guess.
There was one other thing I did want to mention. As far as the health department and the services we provide, I would like to make note, we provided services to over 5,200 people in 2015. So just to, I want everyone to know, how important the services we provide are and how many people we do serve.
Thank you, Janet.
On your handicap door, have anything been done on that?
I've not heard anything. I've kind of talked to, Augie off
So
and
that
on, but.
Company from Terre Haute hadn't come over to?
No, but that's because I haven't moved forward to it. I haven't really talked to Augie for a little while about it. I kind of thought we were still kind of in limbo on the funds, but.
Well, why don't you guys talk and get something going, because, we were talking about doing one over at the treasurer's
Right.
office, and we wanted to get moving on that, and we're talking about one here at the courthouse, so you guys talk and see if you get something going.
The board as a consensus supports moving ahead with those things, okay?
There's a fund available to pay for it, right?
Yes.
So Janet, you and I can talk right now. Call the guy in Terre Haute, have him give you a firm
Okay.
estimate, and then let me know, and
Okay.
we'll go from there.
All right, sure will. Thank you.
Okay. Jill?
We finished up our severe weather preparedness month, held an open house and did some stuff like that. Now we're just prepping for our exercise on May 12th.
Okay. In your open house?
Good, we had, probably over 75 people come out, which, I mean, for us, that's a lot. Nobody knows where we are or ever been out there before, but, you know, offer free cookies and stuff, and everybody comes out, so.
Cookies were delicious.
And we give out weather radio, so.
All right, thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
Eric?
We are getting ready to graduate our first advanced EMT class. They'll graduate at the end of this month. So, that's it.
Thank you, Eric. Any questions? Tom?
We're just getting ready to do a lot of mowing. Looking forward to that.
Have you had enough water?
We're in good shape.
All right. Sheriff?
Well, I think Carl covered most of our stuff. We have finally got all the union stuff, I believe, settled. Jailers are on it. We have changed our shifts at the jail to 10-hour shifts, which I think everyone's happy with. Week and a half, our K-9 unit will be on the road in full force, along with the cities, and the hotel is still full. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Jeff. Adrian? Or Andrea, I'm sorry.
Really not much new. Kennel, the shelter's running just fine. We're getting ready to put a new fence around the back of it, using donations. So that's about all.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to committee reports. Mr. Bruner? Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. 1 second. Augie.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be recognized. We had a good election, March 15th. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of my staff who did an excellent job as usual. It could not be done without everybody working together, and I'm proud of everybody. Not just my staff, but all the election judges. It's a long day out in the trenches, and so we appreciate all of their efforts. The votes have been tallied and canvassed and certified to the State Board of Elections, so we are officially closed with this 2015 primary, or 2016 primary. So it won't be long till we get ready for the fall election, but we are very busy. There's a lot of work that goes on after the election. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of work that goes on before an election. So we've been busy, so that's really all I have at this point.
Thank you, Augie. Mr. Bruner, have you recovered? Can you remember what you were going to say?
I was gonna say, no. Dan more or less gave us the update on the heating and air conditioning system. I think very happy with it. We have some small things, I think insulating the pipes, and then we'd like to get a system where he can control the heat in each one of the rooms per computer, but that may cost a little bit extra, so we're working on that. Andrew gave you an update on the animal shelter. I think we're down to 5 dogs last time I checked.
We're back up.
Oh,
That's all right.
okay.
Just the ugly ones.
Yeah, just one by one. And on
We
the side
thank
note, Mr. Kraft ran over one of our metal feeding bowls, so he will get a bill.
It was improperly placed.
Well, you just didn't know where you were going. So he will be getting a bill. Other than that, I think.
Thank you for that somewhat humorous report. Andy?
Just a couple of things. We got a bid, and I think everybody was acceptable with the bid we got to replace the roof on the garage at the jail. Jeff said these last few winds have caused them to do quite a bit of pickup of the shingles in the parking lot. So I talked to the guy who's supposed to do it. He said with the weather as it's been, he's behind about 30 to 45 days, so it's going to be a little while before he gets to it. But it's on the agenda. Other than that, and second thing, I guess I am working, I talked to the guy about the, fixing the clock on the tower at the courthouse here. It's not as easy as what I would like it to be, but we may have to get a crane, and we're working on the logistics of what it's gonna take to do that, but,
It's never good when a helicopter is mentioned as a
Right.
solution to fixing a clock. That's kind of where we're at.
I have a question for
Yes.
you. On the grant, the $25,000 grant, have we got everything
I
turned
assumed
in?
I have everything in. Now, I got a message this morning from someone said that they're waiting on some things, but I wasn't aware that anything, I haven't been told that there's any additional information needed, so I'm gonna check on that
Okay.
to see if they do, then no one's indicated to me that there was any additional information needed, so.
Okay.
They want to share what we're talking about.
The $25,000 grant that we've been working on.
Through Coles County,
Yes.
for the jail.
For the jail.
Okay.
So,
Rob's
been working on it with.
He's out of town.
As soon as he gets back, I'll get with him, and he'd get with me and tell me, we need this, and got everything. I had you sign some papers.
Yeah, that's been
My
a
understanding,
couple
that was
months
the last
ago.
of what we needed. By the next meeting, I'll have something,
Very good.
whether we need something or not.
All right.
That's all I have.
Mr. Zuber?
Just an update, Bushu will be here, our insurance people, the next study session, talk a little bit more about Affordable Care Act and the changes that'll be coming up probably within the next year or two. That always changes, and that's always on the government that makes those changes happen. And anything else that you may have dealing with insurance, again, like I said in the study session, so I'd encourage anybody if they have questions on that to get them to me so I can get them to him before they show up. As I also mentioned, a study session with Monty and the probation department. Went by there when Monty wasn't there, just to check with the real, no, we checked with the rest of the people. They seemed to think it's all going okay, right, with the change and stuff. And you had a nice little open house also. So that was, that's all I have.
Thank you, Alan. Carl?
Nothing.
Well, then Derek?
Over to me. Okay, so I just want to talk briefly on two pieces in order of priority. Obviously, number one is getting our arms around the situation with the zoning and the airport and being as efficient and quick as we can and getting that turned back on by, getting us in compliance. So we are looking to reach out to other counties that have a similar situation as far as their zoning practices and their county airport, obviously. So that's in work. And then the second priority is, as a committee, coming together and basically crafting how we're gonna do the proposal process for the main hangar. Expect that to be finalized and approved, hopefully at the next county board meeting, and will be quickly followed by the actual asking for the proposals. So, don't have a lot of info on that yet. We haven't got how do you say that? Crafted how we actually want those to go, but we're working on that. And so you'll have that, you should see that in the paper, hopefully by the middle of May. So, any questions for me?
You have a complete advisor committee yet at the airport?
No, not yet. So that's the one we're working, but that's down on priorities, somewhere around 5 or 6, so.
Okay. We did get, I think we all got a thing from Jarvis for a 4-month extension to our 8 weeks. Having heard nothing negative on those, we'll probably initial those and continue to go forth, take the 8 weeks. Once it's done, then the 4-month deal will take us through the end of summer. And so we'll continue with that as an addendum to the contract. Okay? Yes, Don?
Have we heard anything about the audit?
Oh, no, I forgot. I will check with Mr. Doherty, or you can, or we need to.
I'd rather you.
We need to have it would have been, well, we need to have it by May.
May, but, I mean, it's normal that we, I shouldn't say normal, it is not unusual that we file an extension, but
Right.
I do know that it would need to be approved at the May meeting so they can submit it to the state within the 180 days of our fiscal year ending, so.
Right.
But if you'll
I
talk
will,
with him.
I will. Anything else to come before the meeting today? I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry. Do we need a closed session? Oh, we do? Okay. We have a pending litigation requirement that we need to discuss, Craig Augie, okay? So I will not entertain a motion to adjourn. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of litigation, pending litigation only.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second. Roll call?
Patrick,
Yes.
Zuber, Bruner. Yes. Barnum, Lorenzen.
Yes.
Okay, we are going into executive session in a few minutes.
Shut the phone off, or phone off.
Yeah, turn the phone off.
Can I say copy that?
We'll be in closed session, Mark.
Session's over, you guys go.
We're in open session now.
Okay, any other business to come before the meeting this morning? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.